After coaching people through their finances for nearly 2 decades now, I've seen the same spending mistakes destroy more budgets than market crashes. And right now, you're probably bleeding money in these areas without even realizing it. And they're quietly stealing your financial future every single month. But once you understand where money disappears and what actually works to build wealth, you can start to change that story almost immediately. And so today, to show you what I mean, we're walking through 7 specific pieces of financial advice from a friend of mine that have changed his life, and I thought they were really good. And they just happen to be trends that we've personally seen in our lives and many, many of our students. So, and if you stay tuned, I promise there will be something in here to implement that could free up hundreds or even thousands of dollars for you. So let's get started and let's dive in. A friend of mine, Joshua Becker, who we've had on the podcast, I think 2 different times at this point. And do you not remember that?
I don't remember.
So
you might have done some of them by yourself.
He writes about minimalism.
Yep.
He's a former pastor, and so he's just got a good kind of interesting perspective on money in the conjunction of minimalism.
He is super minimalist though. Like he doesn't have a toaster out on the counter or anything. And it always cracks us up talking to him because I'm like, I don't think I can wrap my brain around not having a toaster out. But okay, I get your point.
Yeah, we got in a debate about what to keep out on the
How
counter.
minimalist is too minimalist?
Because I'm like, it's inefficient to take the toaster out every single day when we use it. I'd rather leave it out. He's like, yeah, but it's just better to have nothing on the counter. I'm like, it feels better. But anyway, so these are some of the debates that I get in with some of my friends. But anyway, he wrote an article titled The 7 Most Life-Changing Pieces of Financial Advice That He Had Ever Received. And I thought this would be interesting to just kind of comment on a few of these because I think there's some good stuff in here. And I like hearing someone else's perspective of what is the life-changing advice that you received.
Right.
Yeah. Is there any benefit? I don't know, is there anything good in here that we should apply? So we're going to kind of go through this. And so the first one here is that most people who overspend their income do so in one of 3 ways. Too much house, too much car, too much entertainment. And he got this from a financial advisor 15 years ago.
When we say entertainment, does that include eating out?
So yeah, he would
curious.
say, like he goes, he said there are outstanding circumstances for sure, medical emergencies, tragedy, job layoffs, but generally speaking, if you have a hard time living within your income, check your spending on your home, your car, or your entertainment, dining, tickets, trips, etc.
What I hear is that I can spend a whole lot more on clothes.
Is that what you're hearing?
This
You
is
can
my
that.
reason to safely spend a whole lot more
Yeah.
on clothes. Interesting.
So yeah, like it's not, again, I don't think this is one size fits all. I think it's just general rule of thumb that I think is pretty solid anecdotally.
I think that's pretty solid. Yeah, because I think there have been times when we've been tighter in our finances and I've been like, should we sell the house? Should we like cash out on some of this and try and live off some of that?
Yeah, like when we felt a little bit house poor. Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
Moments, yeah.
Well, not. I don't necessarily think I felt house poor. I just felt like that feels like an easy win. Like that's going to move big numbers quickly.
Yeah.
Rather than like, let's spend $50 less on groceries this month.
No, but we've seen people who are terribly house poor, who have a great income, but like because the home expense, the mortgage, and
trying to
all
furnish
the other
it
stuff
and
that comes with the big house.
Right.
Like they have a hard time, whatever, going to a movie on Friday night because there's like no more money.
Right.
And so that is way too common, unfortunately. Cars are definitely one of those, which is why, if you've been around, you know that we have bought our last, 5 cars with cash or something like that. And so we're very much big fans of the shoot for a used car that's 3 to 5 years old.
Yeah.
And then drive that for another 5 years and do it in a way where it's like you can get a nice car and do that, Right. Because a lot of times you can get
if that's your thing, yeah.
Yeah, if you even care. But
slide on the scale where it's appropriate, right?
Yeah, but doing that, you can get a far nicer car, and if you get a reliable one, you can do that in a way that's actually cheaper than buying oftentimes just a mediocre car that's brand new, you know. And so that seems to be really helpful. And then the entertainment piece, I know some people who, a lot of it probably goes to entertainment, whether that's eating out every night or whether it's going on, 6 trips a year. or whatever the thing might be,
Right. Or concerts. You're at a lot of concerts. Like there's some, I feel like there's people who have their thing where I'm like, you've been to like 16 concerts in the last 2 months. And
well,
those concert tickets aren't cheap.
Oh my gosh. Cause you surprised me with Coldplay tickets. When was that,
did.
last year?
That was a
few years ago?
few years ago.
Those
the year the
were
book
not,
came out, I think.
Those were not cheap.
Those were not cheap.
That's probably the most expensive gift you ever got me, right?
For sure. I mean, to be fair, I didn't pay for it. Well, you paid for it too. This was definitely a but the intention of of surprising you was there. No, and those were not cheap. And that's fine. Like, it was fun. I'm glad we did it. I feel like that was something that was really exciting and valuable to you. So that was good. But it is just interesting how it feels like the entertainment. I can see how that can quickly just add up.
Yep. All right. Number 2 on the list. Begin your marriage living on just one income.
Oh, well, that wasn't possible for us, really.
No,
but yes, my brother actually did this. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think so.
My brother and his wife got married, and they waited until he was making enough income. They dated all through high school. So it was like, I think they got engaged after 7 or 8 years of dating and then got married like about a year later. And he was waiting to have an income that the two of them could live off of.
Yeah.
Well, and just to, be
I
able to provide for his wife.
I think the thing that people don't realize is it is so much easier to live small and then come up than it is to live big and come back down.
Yes.
And I think that's what happens with the dual income, no kids thing.
Right. Well, then if you do actually need to quit because you have a child and that is, that's where God takes you. Now it's not just you're down one less income. It's that you're adding a third person at the same time, Yeah,
really hard challenge.
Right.
And I think I know that the majority of our people listening to our podcast are not in this situation, and you might have kids coming into this situation soon. And so, but I think all of us listening understand that, man, if we would have done that, our 20s and 30s would have been so much better.
Right. Yeah.
And it requires you to make those early sacrifices, which is really hard to do when you're a young 20-something.
Oh my
gosh. I don't want to make a sacrifice. I want to spend all my money that I have.
Yeah. I know. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, my brother just got engaged. Yeah, they flew to Paris, and that's where he proposed. And I was like, are you serious? Like, this is every girl's dream, And he's like, yeah, she was already kind of close. So he bought her a ticket to just get out there. And then he just flew from here. And then he took her to this place. And then they went, to the south of France. And I mean, all of this was just their engagement. And I'm like, that sounds pretty great. But she said they're just living their best dink life,
Yeah.
Dual income, no kids.
And it's like, and at the same time, it's like, I think you should have fun and make the most of that season. But obviously, because I don't know their situation, and maybe that they are living conservatively in the midst of that. But
for sure, I don't know their situation either. But I think when we see that, here's the problem with Instagram and everything, is that when we see that, we're like, oh, that's normal. That's what we should be doing.
Yep.
That's the only problem I have with it, is that it makes it normal for people who are like making $30,000 a year. And that's just not normal.
And that right there is one of the biggest problems, is we see someone else and what they are doing, and we decide, like you're saying, that is normal. That's what we should do. But we're not factoring in the amount of their financial situation, because it actually might be okay for their financial situation, but it might not be for ours.
Right.
And
for yours and mine,
it'll destroy you if it's not right for yours, type of thing.
And I feel like the way we got engaged, to me, it was so special. And I'm like, it was so great. And then somebody comes along with he flew me to Paris to get engaged type of story. And then I'm like, well, I don't even want to tell my story now, because like when you really get down to it, I'm like, yeah, he proposed to me in his parents' dining room type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't sound as special. However, for us, it was so special.
And that's all that matters.
And that's all that matters. Who cares? Anyway, that's how I feel. I'm like, it feels like some of that can take away from the, like, for me, that
It's
was
vanity.
like a holy experience.
Yeah.
And I think if we would have done the other thing, it would have turned into not that.
Yeah, and it's
honestly,
and to each his
and
own.
I'm not saying that it would.
Like,
I'm not saying it wasn't holy for this couple in Paris. I'm saying for us, it wouldn't have been that. This was a very different thing. And can we just let it be what it is? Anyway, that was a long tangent, but
yeah. All right, number 3.
God bless that couple, Lord.
Number 3, buy your car with cash. And so so he's in the same boat. He said, my first car I bought from my parents, paid them back monthly over the course of 1 year. When that car began to sputter 8 years later, I entered the marketplace to purchase another. Talking with my friend one day, and over a roast beef sandwich, he offered me his thoughts. Whatever you have in savings, make that your budget for your next vehicle, even if it isn't much. Then, rather than making a payment to the bank, begin making a monthly payment to yourself for the next car. Whatever you would have paid for a car payment, put into a savings account. When your next car dies, you'll have a bigger budget for the next one, then repeat the cycle. That is exactly what we've been talking about.
Right.
That process is how you break out of that cycle. Because I had a millionaire mentor early in my life who told me that cars were the number one thing that destroys Americans' financial future. And I think he's right. Because if you look at the money put towards car payments, insurance, and whatever, all the other stuff that comes with it, if you can just eliminate a car payment for the rest of your life, like, it's huge.
Well, and okay, so very practically speaking, what this looked like for us, we had bought, let's see, when we got married, we both had cars we came into the marriage with. Mine died after a year, transmission went out, so it was like, we have to replace this. So we ended up buying a brand new car, which was something that we did not take lightly. There was a purpose for that. There was, and that ended up being a great car, great purchase.
But we borrowed that one, right?
Which one?
We didn't have cash for that car,
we didn't have
right?
cash for that car. So a year into our marriage, we took out a car loan. We did pay that off actually really fast. But you still had your car from before we got married. And before that car died, like maybe a year before that car died, you were like, we're going to buy this old beat up car from my sister. Actually, it's not beat up. This older car. I know it's been taken care of. She's going to sell it to the dealer for $1,000. I'm going to buy it instead. And this is a $1,000 insurance policy. And this was our first cash car. Okay. So we still had other cars that were newer and maybe a little bit nicer and had a little bit more bells and whistles. But this car was our first car we paid with cash. And you ended up driving that thing for quite a while and then selling it for the same amount.
Yeah. So this is the Bubble Taurus, if you read our book.
Famous Bubble Taurus.
If you know, you know.
No, but this is just like practically how that worked for us.
Yeah.
Like our first car that we bought with cash was not $20,000. It was $1,000.
Yeah.
And because we made that purchase.
I didn't think we would ever actually drive it. I just wanted to have it because we both had to drive to work every day.
Right.
And I knew if my car went bad, that we'd have to get another car really quickly.
Right.
And so I'm like, this is a good car. Like, it's $1,000.
Let's just do it.
It's an insurance policy.
And what that did was it bought us time between when your car died and when we bought our
cash
next
to buy the next one.
Car.
Yeah.
And we paid a significantly higher amount for that car. I don't remember how much we paid for it.
It was probably $10,000 or $15,000, I would guess.
And we bought that one with cash.
Yeah.
Just because we had bought that one little $1,000 Taurus. I mean, which just worked out great. But I mean, I think when people say, yeah, I got to get out of this cycle, they immediately think, oh, I have to quick save up $20,000 or whatever for my car.
Yep.
And it's like, that's not how we did it. You don't have to do it that way.
You don't have to. And that's not the best way to do it. Like he said, the way to do it is to make the payment to your savings account for your car instead of the bank.
Yeah.
But I love that idea of making your starting budget with what you have.
Yeah.
Which again, no one wants to do.
No
one wants to start with a 12-year-old Taurus as their first car. But like, this is another thing about like kids. Like, this is why I absolutely will not get my kids a Range Rover, brand new Range Rover for their first car.
Right. Well, it sets them up for failure because at that point, like once they leave your house, they're not making a lot of money. And so if you're already like, well, this is my standard, this is just where I'm at.
That's what I mean. Like starting low and then slowly come up rather than starting high.
Plus, let's be real. Those kids are going to trash that car anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so I love this advice. I think this is fantastic advice that I think is great.
Yeah.
Number 4, if you can't keep a monthly budget, use a spending plan instead. And so I'm going to just see how he describes this here. So, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I was introduced to the idea of a spending plan. Contrary to a monthly budget that requires detailed tracking and frustrates many, a spending plan provides flexibility and offers more of a snapshot moment in time glance of your current spending, but the knowledge and lessons learned from the snapshot view of income versus expenses provides valuable insight for course correction. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like this is a little bit of semantics, but in general, I agree that a lot of people are budgeting wrong and doing it in a way that is frustrating, is overly time consuming. And
so, where you feel like you have no freedom.
So our preferred method, I mean, if you've heard us talk about it all, is the real money method. That was kind of something we created out of desperation. And so we have a course kind of teaching that and breaking that down. But I would say that it's kind of a combination of these two, whereas a spending plan, as he describes it, I don't think provides the level of accountability that most people need.
Right. Especially when almost everything is, you can't see it. Yeah. You can't really see what's going on.
Yeah. So that's where I think, it's better than nothing, but like, I don't think it provides near the accountability of a good working budget, in which we call our program an unbudget because it is so drastically different than what most people have done with traditional budgeting.
Right.
And I think, the point he was talking about here of providing flexibility, it's like that's one of the things I love so much about the real money method is that it does that. And it flexes and adapts to whatever you're doing while holding you accountable. So,
well, and usually I think budgeting doesn't work because you're trying to make it look like you're doing the right thing, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to be honest with yourself and be like, I just go out for coffee every day. This is just my lifestyle. So I need to put the money in the budgeting category for coffee every day because I'm going to do it whether I want or whether I think I should or not. It's going to happen. So let's just budget for it.
Yeah. All right. Number 5, you are never too poor to give. I think that is really good advice.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that in my moments of being the most poor or most broke that I was, I think I would have argued it. And I would have said, I'd look at my bank account. I don't have blah, blah, blah. I would have sounded a lot like Elisha and the widow, where he said, what do you have?
Yeah.
Nothing except just a little bit of this oil.
Right.
Like I don't even know if I would have said the accept. I might have been denying the accept.
Right.
We
actually have some friends that have been really, really good at this, where I know they haven't told us much. Like I've never really heard them complain, and they haven't really said much, but they've said enough to know that I'm like, your income is not enough for the amount of people in your family. And yet they are some of the most generous people I know. But like, they're always looking for a way to be giving something. Like, why don't you come to our house for dinner? Why don't you come to, and like they're always making a way to be generous.
Yep.
And it's really inspiring because it can't always be easy, and it can't always be like, I'm sure they have to trust the Lord to fill in their gaps, but it's one of those things where it feels like they're seeking God's kingdom first so that he can give them what they need, Yeah,
I like what he says in here. He talks about, he got this advice from his parents, and he said, their example and advice have revolutionized my life and my view of money. No matter how tight my money situation has been over the years, I don't think I have ever missed the opportunity to give away at least a small portion of every paycheck I received. This is not because I made lots of money, quite the contrary. It's because I learned from a young age that generosity has rewards of its own and is always worth the sacrifice.
Right.
I think that's just really well said. And I would second that and completely agree with that.
Right. Totally agree.
All right. Number 6, never take a job just because of money. Always consider the money, but never let that be the determining factor. I'm like 100%. Like I as a Christian who's trying to follow Jesus, that should be 101.
Right.
The money is not the only option.
No, and I mean, I think this is
Right.
there's a tricky balance here, because if you're going to take a job that is not going to cover your expenses, especially if you have a family, which is
fair enough.
a lot of, we're talking to people like
more in the lens
that.
of, well, this job pays more. Of course I'm going to take it.
Well, sure.
But yes.
Sure. That one is a little bit more of an easy one to see, but I feel like it gets tricky when it's like, this is actually not enough to cover our expenses.
Okay, so you're saying kind of a step down
Right.
type thing into a job that you feel like you're called to or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so that's, I think it's definitely trickier.
And we've known people with that where they have felt like, God is calling me to this. I know it as much as I know the sky is blue.
That's the thing.
But
It's like,
what
if
do
you
I do
know
now?
If you know it, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
Like, you got to do it if you know it. If that's for you right now and you're listening and you know it, you got to do it. And I'm telling you that to say that God will come through.
He will come through.
And again, like, and I'm saying that not as just some random guy on the internet, creating a podcast, but as someone who, I've been a financial coach for nearly 2 decades. I've talked to so many people. I've gotten to peeking into people's different financial situations, and mostly Christians, and mostly a lot of these situations.
Right.
And God comes through.
Well, and it's happened for us.
It's happened for us multiple times.
This is not just a one time. And I think it's worth mentioning both of those things, because it's easy to be like, oh, well, yeah, of course he's done it for you because he wants you to talk about this and whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, but you've also seen it in lots of other people's lives.
Yep.
To where God is just faithful. He is just faithful.
Yep.
And, it might require discussions. It might require some like rearranging of things, searching your heart and figuring out if there is a reason this is a difficult move for you, if there's a reason that, or if there's some other things he wants you to do in conjunction with taking this job, whatever. But yes, I'm in agreement.
Yep.
But all of that is stuff that the Lord will reveal, and it will ultimately be for your benefit, bring you closer to him, and give you the maximum impact on the earth, which is what we want to do.
Yeah. All right, number 7. Yeah, this is an absolute game changer. If you want to pay off your mortgage early, okay, 1 extra monthly payment per year on your mortgage with current interest rates, you will shave off 7 years of paying off your house.
Just year?
1 payment per year. And then if you add that to 2 payments per year, I think it comes out to like 10 or 11 years shaved off.
Really?
And then 3, I think gets it closer to like 15. So point is, if you want to pay off your mortgage, just do whatever you can to make like 1 extra principal payment per year.
This is a typical 30-year mortgage? Is that what we're saying?
Yep.
Interesting. I mean, when you put it that way, that makes it really like, oh, okay, we could do that. We could do 1 extra a year, or we could do 3 extra a year.
Yeah, and it depends on your interest rate, but at the current rates, that's basically what it comes down to at this point.
Wow, that's food for thought.
Yeah, no, I know. That's one of the things we just made a lesson on this in our Mission Driven Millionaire program for our students in there. And as I was writing it all out, I'm like, man, this is like, you just do this one thing. It'll have such a radical impact on the rest of your financial life. If you get your mortgage paid off 7 or 10 years faster, do you know what I'm saying?
That's insane.
Like the amount of money that frees up every month that you now can put towards whatever is most important to you, giving more, investing more, whatever, going on a trip every year, whatever the thing is, it's like, that's significant, man. Because I'll tell you, like, once we got rid of that mortgage payment, it's like, it helps so much.
It helps so much.
I mean, you know that, but.
Right. And there's a level of security that's really wonderful. And I do think that that's God's design. Not that we put our security in the fact that our house is paid off.
Yeah.
However, stewarding what we have in the best way possible, I think getting out of debt is top of his list of, what he wants for our finances. But I mean, that's just even interesting if you are looking for a house right now, could you get a house that you can budget it in to pay an extra 1 to 3 a year?
Yeah.
What if you doubled it every month?
Absolutely.
That would be like insane. But like, I think most people don't think that it's worth it to even try to pay off a mortgage. But I mean, that's That's significant.
Yeah, because like I think
well, and even if you sell the house in like 5-7 years or whatever, I think the average American moves every 5 years or something. Like you have still that much more equity, right?
Yep.
In your home for the
you're just
next
moving
time.
faster.
Right.
So I think last I checked, average mortgage payment across the country is something like $2,500 or something like that, which comes out to about $200 a month.
Right.
And so if you can just find $200 a month, to put to principal of that thing, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And again, and if you can go way bigger than that, again, like you can really get that mortgage moving fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not something, I think that seems like a bigger mountain than it actually is the way you're telling it to me.
Yeah,
like
great.
in my head, I think there's no way. How do you even,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, how do I come up with an extra $300,000 or whatever the number is?
Yeah.
But if I think $200 a month, I'm like, ooh, that's not so bad.
Yeah. No,
Right.
and it's pretty manageable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So everything that we've been reading is off of my buddy Joshua's blog, becomingminimalist.com. So go check that out over there. And I'll leave you with this question. If you're listening on Spotify or on YouTube or anywhere else we can leave comments, I'd love to hear what the best piece of financial advice is that you ever got. Share it with us. Because again, like I said, the whole reason we're reading this is because I just wanted to see the advice and see what's good here. So share your thoughts as well. Thanks for being a listener, watcher, viewer. What else are you? Hanger-outer? Hanging out with us?
Hanger-outer?
Yeah,
friend,
all that stuff.
maybe?
Friend? Not foe?
No, I mean, like, I wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, this is my hanger-outer, Bob. I would say this is my friend, Bob. Or, well, I mean, in our case, this is my friend, Bob.
You should start, like, let's go to church and introduce
each other as our friends. This is my friend, Bob.
Well, I'm going to start introducing my girlfriend.
Girlfriend?
My girlfriend, Linda. We happen to be married for 20 years, but...
I think friend is better.
This is my first wife.
Because there's that awkward moment of like, I thought we were more than that.
I like the first wife, though. This is my first wife, Linda.
Uh-huh. I am his first wife and only, yes.
I know, but anyway. All right. See y'all. Thanks for hanging out.
Okay. Let's wrap this up quick. Bye.